Hi everyone, my name is Jess and today I am making a video from Halifax to talk to you about business travel as a working mother. I'm going to talk to you about the cons, the pros, and everything in between. All right, let's go ahead and get started. All right, everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, go ahead and hit that subscribe button below. It would help me out a lot, and you'll be reminded that every single Monday I do post new content. Okay, so we are not in my office today. I am remote. I am out in Halifax, and I thought, I have 10 minutes. I'm going to shoot a video with you, and I want to walk you through the pros and cons of traveling for work. Now, a lot of people, when they think about being an account executive, they're not too sure if it is a good fit due to the travel. And so this is more going to be an information session, my opinion, the pros and cons. Do you want to start traveling for work? What is the sweet spot of traveling so that you're not sick of it? And then as a working mother, also some of the things that I'm, working through. So let's go ahead and get started. Let's jump in. Number one, or the first thing about working as a field salesperson is, yes, you get the opportunity to travel. It really depends on which territory you cover and which company or organization you work for. I find the small to medium-sized organizations, you get the ability to travel to a lot more different locations than if you were, let's say, at Dell Technologies or other large firms. You may have a very narrow territory. So your territory could be Ontario. And so you're traveling to places like North York, Mississauga, Markham, London, and you might not even be staying overnight at these places. You might be driving a lot. So the traveling is day traveling, long hours, right? A lot of long hours where you are driving maybe 4 hours to go see a customer and then driving back the same day. This is the traveling that is a little bit challenging for me, right? Has to be really worthwhile. The customer needs to also be wanting you to be there and having a meaningful conversation, because if it's just a 30-minute meeting and there's no value, or even a 5-minute meeting, you really want to make sure that you have either a day or a half a day with the customer, mapping out some sort of solution or presenting, maybe even if it's just 1 hour, it depends on what you're selling. But this day travel can be extremely exhausting, especially if you have little ones at home or a family or even hobbies outside of work. This type of day traveling can be exhausting. But on the flip side, if you're in a small, medium-sized company, you may have to fly to different locations. And these locations could be interesting to you. Depends if you get out a lot, but it could be Chicago, it could be Paris, it could be Dallas, it could be California. So depending on which type of travel you like and your situation at home, sometimes working at a small, medium-sized company will give you the availability and options to travel more outside of that small territory or that very narrow territory that you have. Now, when you're like, well, Jess, what is better, large companies or small companies for traveling? I don't think there's a one size fits all here. I think it's very specific on what you like, how demanding the territory is. And I find there are some months in my career that you're going to be traveling a lot, right? Customers are in this buying phase, or you're selling this really interesting product where everybody wants to hear about it, and the product works really well. There's a lot of use cases. So it really depends on season, but I find seasonality where January, I might not be traveling as much because customers are either on vacation or prospects are on vacation and they might not be in the office or wanting anybody on site. And then February comes around, they have their budgets all organized. Now they are ready to have the conversations. March, you have March break. So there's a couple weeks there that customers are not, or prospects are not looking to hear you out. And then I would say for almost everyone, April, May can be very busy with traveling, really before summer starts in late June and July. Unless there's specific events like in Calgary at the Stampede, you might be going to those types of events. But I find the seasonality of traveling is very interesting with work. And as I think I've been traveling a few years now for work in different jobs, it really, you can slowly get an idea of the flow of when you're going to be traveling and when you're not. And I want to talk about the pro, because there's a lot of challenges and cons of traveling, but a big pro is if you have a family or a spouse and they are able to entertain themselves. That means they're not going to bother you. You're going to be able to do your business meetings and not have to entertain either your family or your spouse or your partner. You can bring them along the ride. I've had so many great experiences following my partner with his business travel and vice versa, that we've gotten to see really cool cities that we may never have decided to fly to or go to. Of course, we need to pay for the flight and our food, but being able to have a hotel and a home base. And I will say my husband recently came with me to a business trip. He brought my daughter. It was kind of a stressful time for me and a stressful trip. And the best thing was I did all my meetings during the day. I had my meetings for dinner even, because usually when you're business traveling, it's not like 8 hours. You are working morning until late in the evening, hosting customers and going to dinners. But after that, to come back in the room, your husband's there, my husband's there, my child is sleeping in the playpen. It kind of just brings everything down, right? Everything, whew, that was a lot. It was challenging, and just to have that support system there, even though you don't get to hang out or even see each other and just get to sleep in the same room, it is lovely. There's no better feeling. And I will look back on the trips that we've gotten to take as a family as just a wonderful experience, just to know that they're there supporting me. If I'm stressed, I can just kind of unload on them in a nice way, and they carry me through it and kind of cheer me on for the next meeting. I think I did a video maybe 2 years ago. I brought my son to Dell World specifically. It was his first birthday, and I really didn't want to miss that with work travel, but unfortunately we couldn't move that conference because it's one time per year. So the whole family came, and I just look back and I would have never changed that for the world. It was so cool to see them enjoying Las Vegas together as a family, trying all the food, going in the swimming pool, doing some of the activities. Lots of fun to see them enjoying. So that for me is a huge plus, especially if the job pays well. You financially have money to take the full family on the trip with you so that they may just join a little piece of your trip. But for a lot of these day trips, I'm here for the day in Halifax, and it's literally 24 hours in and out. I find as a working mother, a couple things go through my head before I go on the trip. And interesting enough, depending on when I leave for my flight, I will feel different emotions. And if you're not a mom and you're a guy, maybe this can help you relate to working moms. If this is boring, feel free to just skip, and don't forget to subscribe, please. A lot of you don't already, so that would help me out a lot. But again, if you're a working mom, the emotions that go through your head when you're traveling, and even though you like the job, it is so challenging. So I will go from, if I leave midday, I don't feel anything. The kids are at daycare. I'm going to be back the next day. I'm not going to miss morning routine. I'm just going to miss one evening with them. And that is just 2 hours, right? They're home from daycare. They're not awake for a long time, and then they go to sleep, and I can manage. But if I leave before they wake up in the morning, so at 6 a.m., I feel sad. Like, I look at them, I peek in their room, I look at them sleeping, and I just wish that I could wake them up, hug them. And even though it's only 24 hours, it's still hard on my, hormonalness of a mother to see, okay, mommy will be back. She's going to go to this meeting. She's going to go to this event. And it's good for my career. It's good for my mental health to be using my business brain. And, we have great family support around us. My husband is an exceptional partner. So you get through it, right? But there's still this thing, when you have little kids, am I doing the right thing? Are mothers judging me? Am I going to be supportive? Am I going to be supported? There's a lot of things that run through your head as a mother that you'll just feel hormonally. Not everyone feels that, but that is just my experience of business travel. That is the hardest thing, and it continues to be hard. It's been 4 business trips so far, and it's not stopping me, right? I'm continuing and I'm continuing, but it is a challenge for me specifically. So there's a lot of pros and cons. This video was kind of all over the place of talking about the fun parts, the cons parts. So far, I really like it. One other thing is the flexibility. So you can really work with customer schedules and your schedule to make sure that you are doing that customer meeting at a time that works for both people. I'm a lot more flexible with the customer of what time works for them. There's some non-negotiables. And I think if you're going to be an account executive, you need to put in your boundaries of when you're going to travel and when you're not. Kids' birthdays, off limits. Partners' birthdays, off limits. You need to make sure that your family comes first and business travel and customers come second. You do this, you will be happier, you will be less jaded, and you'll be on your way to success, because when you sit in front of the customer, you're not going to be upset thinking about something that you're missing back home. So prioritize family and everything else will fall into place, trust me. And if you're not into family or you don't have a family, again, ignore this, but you still put some boundaries up of things, that hobbies and different experiences that matter to you. Put that ahead as well. Everything will work out. So that's my experience. I wanted to film this. I'm sitting here in my room waiting to go to a customer dinner and thought I would talk to all of you. So thank you so much for tuning in. And if you like this video, feel free to give me a thumbs up, and I will see you next week. Take care.